Hey, welcome back. In today's video, we're looking at business names. And this is because I've had a lot of you ask me about it. How do you choose the name? What name should I choose? Does it matter? And firstly, yes, it does matter. And there are two different types of ways you can do this, and both of them are correct in one situation and completely wrong in the other, and will absolutely stifle your photography career. So let's look at this. Let's look at the two different types, because I have both. I have two companies. I have Tin House Studios, which is what you know me as here. This is me on YouTube. This is my Tin House Studio. It's called this because our youngest, when he was little, he called it the Tin House, and he used to think I lived here, which probably says something about my work-life balance. But yes, when I first moved in with them, he thought I used to come here to sleep and then go back to their house afterwards. Anyway, I digress. That's why it's called the Tin House. And it doesn't matter what it's called. It could be called anything. It's just called Tin House Studios because it's a studio where we create things, and he called it the Tin House. So there's the brand name. And this is a limited company, which means you can Google it and find stuff on there. It's only been a limited company for this year, so there's no real information up there yet, but it's the sort of thing where you can see what's going on within the company to a certain extent. You can see assets, gross money, and all the rest of it. That is somewhat deliberate because I would like the option to sell it one day, perhaps. Say, for example, I built something in the long run, like Creative Live, then I can sell that and they can continue with the name. Now, that's not actually within my business plan. That's not something I'm thinking of doing as such, but it's an option I wouldn't want to remove. Because it might be the case that I don't have time to do this anymore, or I just run out of ideas, or someone could do a better job. I don't know, but that's an option maybe 10, 15 years down the line. So that's one of the reasons it's called Tin House Studios. The other reason is, and this is why my photography company is different, I don't want my photography name being tarnished by having a YouTube channel because creative directors, art buyers, and all the rest of it, they would judge me for this. So I don't want this coming up in the Google searches too much. Yes, sometimes people tag my name in articles when they're talking about a video and it comes up on Google search, but I can live with that. It's a little bit here and there. It's not 2 videos a week going up under my name, which come up in a Google search, which dilutes my actual SEO for my photography business. Now, Tin House Studios consists of the actual studio space. That's Tin House Studios. A lot of the assets within Tin House Studios are the studio, this camera and sound equipment, and a lot of this stuff is the assets for it. And some of the computers, some of them aren't, but it's a bit confusing. There's bits in here which belong to Tin House Studios, and there's bits in here that belong to me as a photographer. Now, Tin House Studios is an educational platform, first and foremost. So the YouTube videos that I do here, these are to let you know who I am. I then sell workshops about how to be a commercial photographer, how to market like a professional commercial photographer, and how to do certain techniques that are in trend at the moment as a commercial photographer. That's what this is. It's an educational platform for learning. Tin House Studios. Let's park that over here. My main job and my main income is from being a photographer. My name is Scott Chathunyol, Scott Chacino for those who can't pronounce it, or Chauchino, Cachino, Chachino, whatever butchery you want to go with. Scott's good though. That's me as a photographer. I'm a sole trader, and that means that my information as a photographer is not publicly available. It's just me. I don't need a team. I don't need a huge company name. You know, we register for VAT and all that sort of stuff, but we don't have to publish my photography earnings, which is important to me because I don't like people knowing how much I make. The other thing is, me as a photographer, when you book me, you are booking my creative services. We put down a creative fee and then a usage fee. Now, sometimes we'll also put down a equipment fee, a studio fee, and all the rest of it, and that gets billed by the Tin House Studio. That's the physical asset of that. But me as a photographer, I'm Scott Chacino. I say Chacino, don't question this. It's Chathunyol, but I say Chacino because people can understand it better. So I'm a photographer. If I used any name but my own as a photographer, I would not have made it to the point I'm at today. If I called myself Tin House Studios and tried to be a commercial photographer, I would get laughed out the door. They would send me to a shopping centre or a mall if you're American and go and take some family portraits. That's what that name conjures up, Tin House Studios. It's a local name. It's a high volume selling name. If you want to be a professional photographer, you trade under your name and your name alone. There is no, yeah, but I want something cool and creative. No. Nobody wants your cool and creative name. They want your name as the creative. When you're getting booked as a commercial photographer, you're getting booked because it's you. Anyone can take a picture. Anyone can. But only you know your perspective on the world. Only you have your perception of what you can see. Only you have your style. and the way that you execute it for whatever genre of work you're doing. That is you. That is what they pay the big money for. Tin House Studios over here, hello, Mr. YouTube, I can do anything I want. It's a weakly diluted brand. It is not particularly niche. It is not particularly specific. Someone else could jump into the seat and talk about stuff and it'd still work, I think. I think that would still work. And that's not me saying that anyone can do a YouTube channel, because it takes a lot of graft and work, but we'll get onto that in a separate video. It's just me saying that this here, I could have a guest in and who could come and do a talk. And I am going to have some guests in. I've got some really cool guests lined up, actually. But I could have a guest come in and do a talk and it's still Tin House Studios. There is no way, if I turn up on a commercial shoot, that they're letting anybody else have creative input on my photography. Absolutely not. That is what they're paying me for. If I turn up and go, yeah, I brought Jim with me, he's just going to, get it going, give you all the information you need, sort it out, I would be kicked out the building. So let's look back at this again. Two types of businesses. One is you as a creative. If you are the creative, you use your name. If you are a duo, which there are a few duos in the world who work together, there's a few ways to do it. Like there's Anise and Dax. They're a couple. They just use their names. Anise, Dax. Anise and Dax. There's Wilma, which is two chaps who do work. They just combined their initials, I think. But keep it simple. If you're two people, just use your two names. If it was me and my partner, we'll just call it Scott and Holly. We wouldn't come up with some weird creative name for the photography. So photography, use your name. Don't listen to any other advice because it is wrong and misguided. And I very rarely say this. But this is one of those things I've seen other YouTubers who have absolutely no place in the commercial world going, yes, this is how to come up with a company and a logo. No. Use your name, your full name if you're a solo person, first name, second name. And if you're a duo, both first names or both surnames, whatever it may be. Don't deviate. And I cannot stress this enough. Do not deviate. You will not find a top professional photographer calling themselves Snap something or other Pixels. It doesn't happen. Use your name. If you're building a company which does mass volume, and you may not be the sole person. Say you're building a family portrait company and you've got 3 photographers working under you, or you've got a wedding photography company and you've got 6 teams that go out on the weekend. Use a company name, because that is the way to do it. It's not you doing all the work. You've got people doing it for you, and you can call your company Scott, just so you know. Wedding photography company, whatever it is, that's fine. But if you're doing both, you can't. You can only have one company with your name and then you need a different one. So for me to have Tin House Studios, it has to be separate, because Tin House Studios is an educational platform. It is not my photography. It is a YouTube channel and it is a physical studio space. It's a few different things going on here. And yes, we will have guests coming in and they will be able to put creative input into the videos. And no, I don't want it associated with my photography because it's really frowned upon. Anyway, they're the 2 reasons you should come up with a different type of name. If you're a photographer, use your name. If you're a big company doing lots of different things, get a company name. Don't overthink the company name. You can literally just call it anything. Tin House makes no sense. No sense. There's no tin in here. It's not a house. I don't live in a tin house. But it's fine. It's just a company name. Don't overthink it. Get a really simple logo done. I just go for some nice Art Deco fonts normally because that's my jam. But don't overthink it. Please don't listen to other advice. I really must stress, I'd very rarely say don't listen to other advice, because I always think that getting different opinions is great. But in this instance, it's not. Anyway, I hope it's been of use to you. I hope it helps you choose your company name. I'll speak to you all soon. Bye-bye.